Welcome to the show. The Washington Redskins lose 7-6 to Dallas. So what do? We know there's going to be changes. So we brought in the historian with us this week, Mike Richman, to the show. And when we come back, we'll talk about the Redskins then and now.
You know, Geico opened its doors back in 1936, and now we're insuring over 18 million drivers.
Quite impressive, yeah.
Come a long way, that's for sure. So have you since you started working here way back when.
I still have nightmares.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
With one click, you can build your new Toyota. Select the options. Choose the accessories. Get a quote and arrange for financing. Or shop for a certified used Toyota. BuyAToyota.com. Our showroom at your fingertips.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Offensive Player of the Week has been made possible by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Rock Cartwright had a great day on Sunday, but it was not enough. So as I said, this week we brought in the historian. You can see the Redskins Encyclopedia. Mike Richman, welcome to the show.
Hey,
you've been following Redskins quite a while. Tell me your assessment of this team. Let's look at the recent past, and where do you rate this team this year?
I think this is going to go down as one of the worst seasons in Redskins history. It's definitely one of the worst in the post-Joe Gibbs 1 era. The worst season for the Redskins ever was 1961. They had a 107 winning percentage, 112-1 in a 14-game year. Until the win over Denver last week, the Redskins could have finished 2-14. This still will be one of the worst seasons ever for the Redskins, even if, say, they win one more game and finish 4-12. With all the turmoil on and off the field, you factor in everything.
Can I ask a question? I know they don't keep stats on this, but when was the last time, and I don't even remember in recent Redskins history, that you had 6 different offensive lines in the first 10 games of a season?
They have been decimated by injuries, not only the offensive line, but you go back to the 92 season, a year they actually made the playoffs. Their offensive line was in big trouble. Jim Lachey and other players on the line were hurt, but injuries have definitely played a major role in the demise of the team.
Play a role on that, as Mike said, Donna. Do you think maybe now we're looking at offensively maybe a general manager that would have better backups?
You almost have to, Tony, because I think we've been saying all year long that the Redskins need to get a general manager, because you've got to get a person in here that can make some decisions about the personnel and so forth. This never should have happened with this offensive line beat up this way if had they drafted some offensive line. When is the last time the Redskins, in the last probably 5 to 6 years, drafted offensive linemen?
Well, they had a third. They drafted one in a third, Reinhardt, a couple of years ago. Let me ask you this. Going into Philadelphia, this is going to be a big game. Now, on Sunday, if they had won that game, they would have been back into the thick of the race. Now you really, mathematically, you're still alive, but you're pretty much out of it. What do? They had good offense on Sunday. They did not score a lot of points, but they looked better.
They did, Tony. The good thing about it is we talked about the Redskins' young receivers. These guys are coming on as far as Devin Thomas and Malcolm Kelly, and you saw some things in that passing game that we haven't seen probably all year long, and the running game established a whole bunch of things with that passing game.
I think part of that is the development of Jason Campbell. I think they talk about this West Coast offense, how it can take a quarterback 2 to 3 years in this new system. We're now coming to the second half of the second year, and if you look at Campbell in the last 3 games, progressively, he's seeing the field better. He's making his progressions. He's throwing to guys. He's completing passes. I mean, I think you are seeing the development of Jason Campbell in the West Coast offense, and what a shame it would be not to bring him back next year. When you look at guys like Cutler and Sanchez and seeing these guys who they wanted and how poorly they're playing, you might have the quarterback of the future in this system.
Well, let's take a look at the skinny, what we think this offense needs to do. And I kind of disagree with you on one thing.
I love you, man.
I think that Jason Campbell has been playing pretty well all year.
Yeah.
Now he's doing a lot under duress, and he's still getting it done. And you have to protect him, and that's the first thing you have up there. Protect him better. I mean, that's why they can't throw downfield. Scramble if needed. He did that pretty well on
you know
Sunday.
what? I think it's always a second thought with him, Tony, and I think he's got this athletic ability. He could really make some things happen if he's under pressure.
Maybe that's what the coach is telling him to do, though.
Yeah.
We do not know.
Exactly.
Rock, he fits perfect in the West Coast, but what I don't like is it takes away from special teams, Donna.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is Devin Thomas is going to end up doing
He looked
kickoff
good, didn't he?
returns. Yeah.
And sign a guard, Mike. You think they need
Absolutely.
to
Well, you need to stabilize the offensive line.
What do you sign? A veteran that's out there, or are you wait?
I think you use all or most of your draft picks next year on offensive linemen. As desperate as that sounds, the Redskins need to fortify the offensive line. They worked on the defensive line this past offseason. Now they have to work on the offensive line. This game is won in the trenches. If Jason Campbell did have the protection like we've spoken about, I just want to make one comment about him, though. How many years are we going to be saying, hey, you know, Jason Campbell's got potential, he's making progress? This guy needs to step up. I know he had good numbers against the Cowboys. He didn't perform in that last 2 minutes, though.
Either, did he not? And hey, if they made 2 of those field goals, we'd be talking about a win, would we not?
We'd be 2 games out of first place.
I'm telling you, Mike, I don't really like the way they're crucifying this young man because he's playing under duress. He's getting hit every play.
Exactly.
He has 2 or 3 300-yard games, but it's not good enough. But then you have kickers and other people making mistakes that's causing them the game. So therefore, I think we, all of us, have been unfair in our assessment of him.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that we got to remember that Jason has been in a lot of offensive situations, too, schemes and so forth. But I think, Mike, beyond what you said, is the new play caller, too.
We'll be right back. Absolutely. I know it got a little rough there, a little testy, but, you know, we're going to see can we keep Mike around. He better talk history now because we're looking at the present. We'll be back in a moment.
Hold your head back, lean to the side. Throw your hands up high and play the DC5. Hold your head back, yeah, and lean to the side. We make you say, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Give me that DC5.
Play the DC Lottery's newest numbers game, DC5.
Give me that DC5. Work it.
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
Who's watching?
It's right here. It's easy. It's the money you could be saving with Geico.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Defensive Player of the Week has been made possible by Toyota. Toyota, moving forward.
Fletcher, 13 tackles. The young man is having a great year. Even with Hainsworth out the other day, he still ended up with 13 tackles. Matter of fact, the defense, they're playing well. What can you say? The defensive backs played pretty well the other day, shut the receivers down, and you look on Sunday. They did everything they needed to do to win.
Tony, any time that you can hold Dallas scoreless until almost the end of the game, you stop their run, you stop their passing, you rattle Romo. You did everything you could possibly do to win that game. And if the offense just score a few more points, then the game is won.
I guess that's the only thing they didn't do. They needed to score.
These guys on defense, though, must be sick of performing this well and the offense not doing its part. I mean, this has happened continuously in recent years. And also, Jim Zorn was brought in as an offensive specialist. where is the offense?
Well, it's not in his hands now.
And if you look at the NFC East though, and you look at how the defense is played, I mean, McNabb didn't look particularly good against the Redskins when we played them, and also Manning didn't have a particularly good game in that opening game. I think they only beat the Redskins by 6, and then they almost torched Romo from Rome. And I mean, come on. They
Romo from Rome. Here we go.
Oh, well, that's
Romeo and Jessica.
Down there, they call it Rome.
Did you go over to Rome and get this information?
No, but yeah, they call it Rome.
He
They call
traveled
it
all
Rome.
around.
I mean,
The Roman Empire.
Jessica
down there.
Simpson must have been in the
Did you
stands
see
yesterday
what
because he got
Doc called it?
distracted.
Did you see what Doc called it live on the air? I won't even repeat that word.
Let's look at the skinny. We'll leave that there. Doc said it? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Keep McNabb in the pocket. Now, McNabb is playing pretty
terrible.
well this
But
year.
he's terrible in
but
the
he's
pocket.
bad in the pocket.
He's under
Jackson
50%
is a big
completion.
play receiver and a big playmaker. He has to stop
And a
him.
fumbler.
Oh, and he will fumble. Get a TV defensive TD is, I guess, what we need. Westbrook is out there. There we go with those concussions. And we need 3 sacks a game.
Tony, you know what? Yeah.
Where's Albert Hainsworth? He needed to play on Sunday. This was a huge game for the Redskins. You're guaranteeing him $41 million. He's got to be in there. I know that would not have happened in your day when you played.
I played 14 years, and I played in 203 out of 204 possible games.
Broken up and everything.
And that's where everybody played because we didn't have security like that. You were always concerned with someone getting in there and playing better than you, and then you wanted to play if you could play. That one game that I missed, I shouldn't have even missed that one. I shouldn't have missed the game.
Tony, you know what I like about the defense? They did something against Dallas, which they'll probably have to do it against
You're
Philadelphia.
very talkative with Gary not being here. I mean,
It's the coffee.
Well,
is it the coffee?
It's the coffee.
Feels more relaxed.
I mean, she is. Come on with it, Donna.
That's because, he has nothing to say, and I'm trying to give you the
She was beating us
911.
up before the show.
Absolutely. We want to calm her down a little bit. We want to save everything for the show, make it as contentious as possible.
Exactly. But the thing I like about the defense that they did, like I said, against Dallas, is that we saw a lot more blitzing because they knew that Romo moves outside the pocket. Same thing McNabb would probably do also. But we saw more blitzing, more so that game than we've seen the Redskins all season long. And they had to bring the pressure on and the better play tackling. And from the secondary, we saw that. The same thing, they've got to stop the running game. That's something the Redskins kind of like did in the Dallas game also. But when they got down there in the area as far as scoring, the Redskins came up with big plays, interceptions, and so forth. Like you said, the only thing they didn't do is score touchdowns.
Exactly. And if they went to more blitzing, that means they were confident that their defensive backs could cover Dallas receivers one-on-one. They did get that. Albert Hainsworth, there was a big missing void in the middle of that line. But overall, defense played well. Now, when we come back, we got to talk about something that's special that's not so special. No, not Mike. It's another player. We'll be back.
Right. Relive the glory days of your Washington Redskins. Call 703-723-3388 to book a speaker for your next special event. Speakers are available for sports and educational events, autograph sessions, or as motivational speakers.
Today's tech-savvy audience is on the lookout for the latest trends in new media. LI Studios, messaging for a new media generation.
Welcome back to the show. Each week we highlight a restaurant. This week we got the Hard Times Cafe. We have R.B. Colbean with us, and he's the Fairfax General Manager. And you guys have quite a few locations in the area.
Yes, 15 locations to be exact, as far out as Hagerstown, Maryland, and as far south as Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Tell me a little bit about the wings that you bought us, like I don't know.
We definitely know you know. These are our original Texas wings, and what separates us from other places with our wings is we deep fry them, then we toss them in the sauce, and then we put them back on the grill to get that grill flavor, and then we season them with our Texas seasoning, which makes them have that unique taste, and you know about that, Tony.
Very much so. I know about 10 pounds much about it. But let me ask you this. Speaking of Texas, the Washington Redskins, they went down and they represented themselves well on Sunday against Dallas, even though they lost the game.
They played well. The defense really stepped up. There was some missed opportunities with field goals. They're playing a lot better, but there's still a ways to go with the team.
What is the consensus at all of your restaurants? I know they watch a lot of the games. You guys have big screen. Do the fans want to see this team remain the same or blow it up?
Blow it up is the consensus, yes.
What about general manager? Do you bring in another general manager or a general manager?
An experienced general manager would definitely help.
What do you guys do during the game? Do you have a lot of television, a lot of fans come in?
A lot of the locations are not only the restaurant, but also our sports bar, have a separate sports bar, and have numerous big screen TVs, and definitely have the NFL package so you can watch all the games at the different Hard Times.
Well, RB, I want to thank you for coming in, and as he said, they have 15 locations. The wings are great, the chili is great. I've tried everything that they have. Hamburgers are half price, Wednesday wings are cheap. You guys need to go there. We'll be back in a moment.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Special Teams Player of the Week has been made possible by Geico.
Five punts, 195 yards, Hunter Smith, but that's not the kicker we're concerned with. That was a good piece of food. Maybe let's go with that food. It makes me hungry just looking at it. But
out here,
now we
come. Dispensation to take that on the plane today. Is that
true? Let's get to it. Let's talk about it, and we have to talk about it. Missed kicks on Sunday, and let's be. I'm okay. As I said, when you're a player, they play you to do something, and be the best that you can be at it. But when you can't, as a kicker, cost your team games.
Well, you know, he started to fade last year. Mike wants to get on this too. Don't forget that he was only a 75%er at the end of the year, one of the worst.
Mike and Mike. We're going big.
Let's just see if this is the beginning of him fading again. But you made a good point before the show. He kicked 2 out of bounds last week, and he's never been one to get it in the end zone very much on kickoffs. I think he's circumspect.
I don't think this is the beginning of him fading. I think it's, let me put it this way, I think it's too early to tell. Yes, he did miss 2 kicks against the Cowboys, but he's got to make those, and he's got to come through in the clutch. It's too early to tell, though, if he's starting to fade. He's got a great holder in Hunter Smith, so let's give it another game or two.
What about the kickoffs? I mean, those have been short over the last few weeks.
He's always had a history of doing that. That is one of his downfalls.
Okay, but that gives you a short field to work with, and it almost gives the other team advantage. So that's been the last 2 weeks, along with all his other duties.
And then you know what else you have to look at? Rock Cartwright will be a starter now, so there's one of your best coverage men not there. So what do you think about these special teams against Philadelphia?
That's key. Well, like you said, special teams would have won the game against Dallas, and so this is key right here as far as that.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson is very good. He's a big play receiver.
Yeah, that's scary.
As far as us, the Redskins returning kicks, though, I'd love to see Devin Thomas back there now, and I think we will. He was a great kickoff returner in college, and I think the Redskins should put him back there.
Mike, let's see a little NFL news. What's happening around the NFL?
Well, just a really quick rundown, and you guys jump in anytime you want. Antonio Pierce is out up to 6 weeks with a bulging disc in his neck.
Yeah, and they're talking about that could be even more serious.
Kurt Warner may have a concussion, may not play this weekend.
Another quarterback.
Suggs, with that cheap hit by Brady Quinn, who I thought the Redskins should sign if he's cut. Suggs is out for at least 3 games.
Big loss for the Ravens.
Holmgren says now that he might be interested in that general manager's job in Seattle.
The question again, why did he leave before?
Well, he was head coach, and he was...
Well, he's interested.
He was general manager a few years ago, too, remember? And then he gave up
away from him. Yeah.
And Mike, he's interested in Cleveland also.
Here's the big name that's starting to pop up. This guy is a passing guru, Mark Trestman, and he is the head coach of the Alouettes in Canada. And his name's starting to pop up for some head coaching jobs. And believe it or not, this isn't just a rumor, but 2000 trade of Bolden to Baltimore. I mean, that's been popping up everywhere.
That would be big. You talking about the big wide receiver. You got to let them know the big wide receiver from Arizona that was their #1 threat a couple years ago.
Vikings gave Childress 2 more years. Buffalo wants to interview the big guy, Shanahan and Cowher, but there's no way they're going there, are they?
Never know.
I don't think so.
And then the player concussion change. Now, Tony, you can comment more on this because you were in the physical therapy business. But now, a team can't just say the team doctor says he's okay to play. You got to go get an independent neurosurgeon or neurologist to approve his coming back.
Very important. When I played, they would just tell us, "Oh, you just got dinged. You just, and really, we were probably having concussions at that time. I think that's very important. Everything they're doing right now, and is very much needed.
The new helmet that was mentioned in the Post about a month ago, they got to get that into the NFL. If you get hit on this helmet, it's got an individual suction area that absorbs the shock, and it's got 12 or 13 of these suction cups inside the helmet. They got to get those out on the field.
What took them so long?
Well, wait, it was one thing left down there that we didn't look at, and I just got to look at Donna Hopkins. Moved into first on the pick.
That's no surprise.
Where's Gary?
Gary. What did you say when Gary loses?
Gary Clark, where are you now? Donna's in first place. That's NFL news.
Exactly.
It's really NFL news for you to be in first place. You know you don't deserve it.
No, that is no surprise that I'm in first place.
I'm going away from that. Let's look at this.
Does he always disappear when Donna
attitude changes?
Yeah, you see how much she's talking?
She struts a lot.
Let's take a look at this NFC East.
She moves her shoulders when she walks.
First game, guys. We got Oakland and Dallas. I look at Dallas. Oakland won the other day. Whoa. Dallas still, and we can see on Sunday, they can be had.
Oakland
they are
might
in trouble. They can beat them. Okay, next one, we're looking at New York Giants at Denver. We don't know which one of these teams. Both of them are going in the wrong direction. That's a big game.
I picked Denver in that game.
All right.
Really?
I picked Denver in that game.
Okay.
I don't. I picked the Giants. Washington at Philadelphia. Now, what we have to find out how the players folded their tents, or will they go out and represent?
I think that they're going to represent Tony. I don't think that they folded the tents yet because they're playing better.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Sports Bar Challenge. This year, it's really tough. Tennessee Titans at Houston Texans.
And downs.
Let's take a look. That's a good game right now. If you look at Crystal City Sports Pub, 7-4. Crystal City Restaurant, 8-3. Both of them are taking Houston. Greavy's 7-4, taking Houston. Martini's taking Tennessee.
Everybody close.
That could be. Old Dominion Brewhouse, Hanny in the game, 8-3. Houston. The Dock at Lansdowne, 6-5. They're taking Houston. And Jordan's 8, Surgeon now. They're taking Tennessee.
And you know the thing about this game and Vince Young, I read an article, actually he was interviewed in GQ magazine back in September, and he talked about how his game has changed. He's a little more humble now. He's going to wait his turn. When he gets a chance to play, he's going to take this team to the Super Bowl. And before the Monday night game, 3-0, coming back. You got to admire this kid.
He's playing very well, but I don't know about that Super Bowl stuff.
No,
we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we have to take a look at the picks. We got a couple other things to do, but I say once again, where's Gary Clark? We'll be back in a moment.
Mike, are you in Texas? Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus wishes to thank Office Movers Incorporated, a Kane company, for our wonderful set pieces. For all your office furniture needs, visit the experts at officemovers.com. Calling all songwriters, publishers, record labels, artists, promoters, and all who aspire to be in the business of music. Next Level Publishing Company presents So You Want to Be a Music Star, the DVD Volume 1. Visit www.nextlevelpc.net. That's www.nextlevelpc.net. Get yours today.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Stat of the Week has been made possible by Toyota.
Nearly shut them out. They needed to shut out. We don't need no near. This is not horseshoe.
No adverb.
This is not horseshoe. Not nearly.
Shoulda.
Let's see what's up next with the Eagles, and these are things that we think they need to accomplish. Well, we know Westbrook is out. That's big.
McCoy's playing well though.
Not that.
He's not a Westbrook.
Yeah, and their wide receivers are very good.
He's nicked. Curtis is doubtful.
And Curtis is doubtful.
Reggie Brown's
Reggie
back.
Brown, he
Starting to
could be
come
a
on.
factor. Watch McNabb over the middle.
He loves
I
to
think
throw
he's
over the
playing
middle.
well.
He loves to throw over the middle.
Yeah.
I think McNabb is just so inconsistent, though. You don't know what you're going to
so?
get
I think
from
he's
him
been playing
game
very
after
well
game.
this year.
McNabb is
I don't know.
solid.
I don't think he'll be back next year. I think they're going to cut him or trade him.
I don't know about that. Kevin Kolb is actually,
he's the
I
guy
think, a
next
decent
year.
quarterback.
And you got Vic.
Well, yeah, what are they going to do with Michael
Tony,
Vick?
are you kidding me?
I'm
No,
listening to that.
no. You
may
could
have
get
something.
2 first picks for McNabb. You could.
I don't know.
I don't agree with
think
that.
so. I don't
Oh,
think
man,
so.
the
maybe
guys
a first
in
and a
his
second.
early
You were all right
I
when you
think
made that
McNabb-
statement.
Okay.
That was a
Mike.
ball-peen
I
hammerhead
think he looked good in
statement
a
there.
Redskins uniform.
Let's go with some hot games right now. Indianapolis at Houston.
Indy and that crew, Tony, knows how to win, but they can't take Houston light.
So who's winning?
Indy.
All right. Chicago and Minnesota.
Oh my gosh, is Brett Favre playing well? Not only that, but Jay Cutler looks so skittish now. He's so afraid of making a mistake. You just got to go with Minnesota at home. I mean, they are a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, Cutler got a big arm and a big mouth. Okay, who said that? Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
I'm going to go with the Steelers. They started slowly in 2007, 2005. They picked it up and then won Super Bowls.
Yeah, but they got a lot of key injuries, so I'm kind of worried about that. I think Baltimore win that game. Now let's look at our picks of the week. Speaking of thinking, 3 of us went 5-0, and 1 went 3-2, and he's not here, so we're going this week. Mike will make his picks. New York Giants at Denver, Indianapolis at Houston, Pittsburgh at Baltimore, Arizona at Tennessee, Chicago at Minnesota. Donna Hopkins, 29-16, got the Giants, Colts, Ravens, Cardinals, Vikings. Gary and Mike. We got the Broncos, Colts, Steelers, Cardinals, Vikings. I got the Giants, Colts, Ravens, Cardinals, and Vikings. And Mike, Giants, Colts, Ravens, Titans, and Vikings.
I think Vince Young gets it done.
I don't. That's why you're in the fourth.
Well, Warner, he may have a slight concussion.
Everything proves itself out. That's why you are fourth now.
No, so goes Warner, so goes that team. I don't see Arizona beating Tennessee.
Yeah, I got a tip for everyone this week. And guys, tell me what you think about this. Where is Mark Mosley when you need him? Can we get the Mosley back out? That straight-on kicker, yeah. I'm not down on the young man, but you, as a kicker, Mosley won games for us. You can't lose games. You can't kick it out of bounds. You got to be consistent.
Well, can we just talk about that kick at the end of the first half? Why aren't the Redskins taking another shot at the end zone? 3rd and 1, 15 seconds
But
left.
they thought they couldn't protect that quarterback, and they wanted that field goal.
Roll out of the pocket and throw it out of bounds. There would have been enough time.
Well, we'll have to argue about this after the show, but he's right about that. We wanted them to take that opportunity, but they thought what was a sure shot was that field goal. It turned out not to be. Against Philadelphia, maybe they can blow someone out finally, and they will not have to worry about that. But we want you to come back and watch us next week, even if Gary Clark's not here. You have a great day, a great evening, a great afternoon. We'll see you next week.